No president has ever chosen a more qualified nominee for the Supreme Court than Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson.
When I was born here in Washington, my parents were public school teachers. And to express both pride in their heritage and hope for the future, they gave me an African name, Ketanji Onyeka, which they were told means lovely one. My parents taught me that unlike the many barriers that they had had to face growing up, my path was clearer, so that if I worked hard and I believed in myself in America, I could do anything or be anything I wanted to be.
No member of the Supreme Court has ever had better educational credentials than Judge Jackson, an honors graduate of Harvard College and an honors graduate of Harvard Law School. Now, several justices have had academic credentials equal to Judge Jackson, but none, not one, has ever had better academic credentials. And in fact, most of the 115 Supreme Court justices did not even graduate from law school. Only 49 of them were actually law school graduates. For its first 127 years, the Supreme Court was a bastion of affirmative action for white Christian men only. Those white Christian men did not have to compete with any women, any people of color, any Jewish people, just white Christian men. For 127 years, white Christian men had it all to themselves, and most of them did not have to go to law school to become Supreme Court justices. They got their legal training by hanging around a law office somewhere. That was good enough for the 127 years of white Christian men being the only people allowed to even be considered to serve on the Supreme Court. And not one of them ever had to answer a single question from a senator about anything. Not one of them had confirmation hearings, not one. At least one of those people was confirmed by the full Senate the day after he was nominated. That's how easy it was. Then in 1916 came the first Jewish nominee for the United States Supreme Court, Harvard Law School graduate Louis Brandeis, and that is when the confirmation hearing had to be invented. The white Christian men of the Senate wanted to ask some questions of the first Jewish nominee to the Supreme Court. After Justice Brandeis was confirmed, the Senate stopped asking questions for decades. They had no questions for Stanley Reed in 1938, the last Supreme Court justice who did not graduate from law school. Only in the television age did confirmation hearings become routine for Supreme Court justices, and that was entirely because senators wanted to be on TV. No Supreme Court justice has had better judicial experience than Ketanji Brown Jackson. Only 10 Supreme Court justices out of the 115 ever served as federal district judges, meaning they actually had to conduct trials in courtrooms with the people whose lives were being affected sitting right there in front of them. Judge Jackson has also served on the most important federal appeals court. Only 30 of the 115 Supreme Court justices had some experience as judges in federal appeals courts. And unlike anyone currently serving on the Supreme Court, Judge Jackson has actually served as defense counsel for criminal defendants. She knows what it is to face the might of the United States government in court. As a federal public defender, when Ketanji Brown Jackson stood up in court for the defendant she was representing, the case was announced as the United States of America versus the defendant. Imagine what that feels like. Ketanji Brown Jackson will be the only justice on this current court who knows what it feels like to stand in a federal courtroom representing one person against the full prosecutorial power of the United States of America. Now, you can argue that there have been other Supreme Court nominees who are as qualified as Ketanji Brown Jackson, but there have been very, very few of them, and none who are more qualified. Supreme Court confirmation hearings are not about qualifications. They are about preening senators, glorying in their minutes on camera. Judge Jackson used her opening statement today to thank the people who helped her arrive at this moment.
My parents have been married for almost 54 years, and they're here with me today. I cannot possibly thank them enough for everything they've done for me. I love you, Mom and Dad. My very earliest memories are of watching my father study. He had his stack of law books on the kitchen table while I sat across from him with my stack of coloring books. I would like to introduce you to my husband of 25 years, Dr. Patrick Jackson. We met in college more than 3 decades ago, and since then, he's been the best husband, father, and friend I could ever imagine. Patrick, I love you. I'm saving a special moment in this introduction for my daughters, Talia and Layla. Girls, I know it has not been easy as I've tried to navigate the challenges of juggling my career and motherhood. And I fully admit that I did not always get the balance right. But I hope that you've seen that with hard work, determination, and love, it can be done. Like my high school debate coach, Fran Berger, may she rest in peace. She invested fully in me, including taking me to Harvard, the first I'd ever really thought of it, to enter a speech competition. Mrs. Berger believed in me, and in turn, I believed in myself.